So today I will be making some fried dumplings, and I'm starting off by showing you my ingredients. I have baking powder, butter, all-purpose flour, cornmeal, evaporated milk, and salt. In my bowl I have the flour, the cornmeal, and the salt. Oh, and of course baking powder. And I'm just combining all those ingredients together. Unfortunately, I don't measure, so I can't tell you the exact measurements. Now I'm gonna add some butter. Then I'm going to, once again, I don't measure, I just kind of eyeball. And I'm just gonna combine all that together. And I'm gonna make my dough. Now here I have some evaporated milk that I did half and half with water, and I added just a little bit of sugar, about half a teaspoon. There it goes. Get all in. And there are different versions and different varieties of making this, and everybody that does their own thing. Some people use self-rising flour. I personally don't. Self-rising flour for me have an aftertaste because it has baking soda, so I just do my own thing. Some people just use regular water. That's fine. This is my version of making it. That's how I like it, and when I make it for people, this is how people ask me again. This is how they want it made, so that's why I do it this way. So I'm just getting in there, combining all the ingredients, making sure my dough is nice and firm, not too firm. Making sure I get everything in there. Yep. Yep, nice clean bowl. Oops. Oopsie, strong hands. What's a cook without one or two mishaps, huh? Okay. Now that it's all done, I will be covering it with saran wrap. Or you can use a clean kitchen towel if you have one. Just cover your dough. Or sometimes what I'll do, I'll put it in a Ziploc bag. And let it sit. I like to let my dough sit for at least a half an hour. And then I come back and fry it. So there it goes. Okay. Now this is me making different shapes. I am very creative. I try to be very creative, that is, and I don't like regular boring round dumplings, so I try to make all sort of shapes that I like to see. Sometimes I make triangles. This is just my regular twist dumpling that I make often. And that's just a regular round. And again, this is just up to you how you decide to make your dumplings. Some like it flat, some like it, I don't like it too poofy, I don't like it too flat, I like it like in between. Okay, and I'm just adding them to the hot oil that I have halfway. Once again, this is my method. Some people use a lot of oil to cover it. I don't. I make it like midway, so it's half and half, so it's not like totally submerging in oil. And once the oil gets hot, I turn the stove down to like a little below medium. Okay, now I am making this is what I get requests for to make a lot. This is my braided dumpling. One of my nephews, growing up, if I didn't make this for him, he wouldn't want to eat any dumplings. I had to make sure I have a breaded dumpling for him when I make fried dumplings. If this is not in his plate, he'll be like, Auntie, where's my dumpling? I'm like, I made dumpling. No, but I didn't get that special one. So yeah. So this is just how I make it. I go by just selecting pieces and just rolling it in my hands, making 3 strands. And it's like here, if you ever braided hair before or plait hair, this is just basically the same procedure. Yep, making it nice and smooth. And if they're different sizes and shapes, you can always like just adjust by taking a piece off. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just reshaping and then go again. Doesn't have to be perfect, but and trial and error. If you don't get it right the first time, you can always try. That's the beauty of cooking. You can try new things and come up with some creative ideas too. Here I am, just can make sure you pinch the ends, because if you leave it open, it will come apart while you're frying, and then you won't have a braid anymore. You'll just have pieces of dumpling, of dough fried in the oil. So there it goes, my braided dumpling. Okay, over here in the pot I have these that I turn once, and I'm gonna flip them over again to make sure that it's soaked all the way through. You don't want to fry it on too much of a high heat, because what will happen, it'll get brown on the outside, but then it will be raw. The dough will be raw and not cooked through. So you want to make sure that you gauge the stove properly, and you turn them at least once. You put them in, you turn them, and you turn them again, and you let them. So cooking time, probably about 10 minutes in total, depending. Here I am just removing it from the pot. From the oil, so I'm putting it on some paper towel so I can drain the excess grease off. And that little one in the corner, there's the pinch that I pinched off when I was making the braided dumplings that you see floating around there in the pot. I just decided to throw it in there, the oil. And that is the first batch, so it looks. Here I am turning my braided dumpling in the pot, so I didn't show you how I put them in, but anyway, that's my second turn. Put them in, turning and turning them again. Once again, you have to make sure that they are cooked on the inside, not just brown on the outside, or you'll be having raw dough in your mouth. Here I am removing them. You have to be careful. Use my hand there to help. My hands are clean. As a cook, you have to make sure your hands are clean at all times. So my hands are clean. Put it in on the paper towel and just making sure that it drain all the excess oil. Okay, now this breakfast I made some callaloo and some plantains to go along with my fried dumplings. So here's the plate. So hopefully this helps and you will be able to make your own fried dumplings. Bon appetit!